Okay, how you doing, folks? This is Mike Snett, and this is the Office for Truth program. So in this particular video here, I'm going to be talking about my time back in Albuquerque. I've already recounted it on another video with Skip Heitzig and the Calvary Chapel, but the reason that Steve Smotherman's in this video is because when I complained about all those police contacts I had, I could have complained 15 times. I got up to 10 complaints because for 18 months they just kept bothering me out there. He was one of the main people that was, Steve Smotherman was one of the main people letting him bother me because he could have asked some questions when he was on that police oversight commission meeting, because that's how I met Steve Smotherman. If you complain in Albuquerque and they don't sustain your complaint, you go to the police oversight commission. So that's what I would do. That's where I met Steve Smotherman. So that's why we're talking about him today. And so, as I said, I got up to 10 complaints. And so this was just a long process of the 18 months I was there of going there. And he was just one of the people along the way who was trying to dump on me. It was a whole town, but he was just another person. So I'm going to share that story with you. So when I would appear before him, this was July of 07, August of 07, and September of 07. I was there until 08, but this was just another part of my travels. And so I'm just recounting it because I'm new to YouTube. So these are government TV. This is one of the government television. They're all filmed. And I'm working on trying to help Channel 7 to help me get those videos so that we can put them out there so that they can see those and that people can see Steve Smotherman on TV. Because as I'm sharing with you, it's pretty startling from somewhat of his image that he has, and then kind of this whole thing of what he was doing over there. So when I would appear before him as in examples, he couldn't understand what I was trying to do. He never acknowledged that I could stand on that sidewalk and hold that sign and criticize the church or the teachings or the pastor or the leadership, because that's all I'm doing. It's just the teachings or the leadership. There isn't anything else you're really doing. It's not crazy stuff or anything. So, but the police kept bothering me, so as I'm complaining, so I kept trying to say I have a right to stand on that sidewalk. You know, I'm a Christian. I consider my First Amendment rights. I got religious freedom. That's what I want to do. I don't want the police bothering me at all. And so I would keep making that case. And he just didn't care. And so he kept voting against me. He would violate my civil rights with the rest of the town. Because one of the things that Steve Smotherman was trying to do is, along with this other board, the city, the lever pullers, the people that are in power, was he wanted the police to harm me. Because he's a sadist. It's kind of that abusive mentality. Because if you think about it, I was there for 18 months. So I was going out to that church, not all the time, but I had all those contacts with the police being by myself on a sidewalk that's 100 and some odd yards long. There's nobody out there. It's outside, an industrial area outside of town. So they kept coming around me. So you have to ask yourself, why would Steve Smotherman, that board, the police department, Skip Heitzig, the mayor, because I went to all these people, chief administrative officer, city attorney, newspapers. I went to tell everybody I could go to. Why did they all think it was okay for the police to keep coming out to me? Well, because if they come out to me, there could be a use of force. They could harm me. And you see, and that's what he was trying to do. He was reaching through all this stuff to harm me because he's a sadist, because he's some abuser. That's what it is. Because if you were to ask Steve Smotherman, why did you keep letting the police go out to him? Why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you see anything wrong with it? I mean, they just kept doing it over and over again. Well, he couldn't say that because he wants me to be harmed. He wants them to harm me. Because there's no other reason, because you'd ask him, so you mean you want them to go out there to be his friend? You want them to go out there to listen to what he had to say? You want them to go out to him constantly to hang out with him? To what? To take pictures with him? To joke? What did you want them to go out there to do? Because your job is to oversee the police. That's what the Police Oversight Commission is. And he just failed at every turn like everybody else. And he was just abusive to me up there. I remember in the August meeting, I was just asking about what happened to my other complaints because I'd got to do some, and there was other ones that I had that hadn't been processed because they were just ripping them up. And when I tried to ask, he just started screaming at me, and he just booted me out of the meeting. I didn't even get my 3 minutes. That's a violation of my civil rights. In the September meeting, he was trying to ask him what was going on because he couldn't even get it. And then when he let Lieutenant Feist make up some excuse again, look, Mr. Snett's standing on the sidewalk. But what he's doing is he's yelling so loud that they can hear him in the building. Now you're talking about being 80 yards away from the sanctuary. And he said I could yell so loud, Lieutenant Feist, just arguing for the police, that I was disrupting the church. Now everybody knows that you can't do that. I don't carry a megaphone or nothing. And Steve Smotherman throws up his hands and couldn't believe it. So you'll have to see those videos, and I'm working on getting those videos out here because I tried to, but I need some help from the Channel 7 is going to help me to get those videos. And when you see those videos, you'll see what a sadist he is, what an abuser he is. And that's kind of just a general thing of my experience with Mr. Smotherman. I don't know Legacy Church. See, they would say they know him on the stage, but I would say I know him standing here on this on the stage where he was at in front of that table in front of me, being an abuser, feeding off of those police coming out to me to try to harm me. I mean, what else would it be? I mean, at one point he said, look, I know why the police keep going out to him. I wouldn't like it either. I wouldn't like it if he came to my church. I wouldn't like it either. Well, you don't get to like anything. You just have a job to do. You see, and he had that rage in him like all the other people did in that town for all that time. And so in this video, this is what I'm talking about. So I have that little phrase underneath this picture. It says, don't throw your pearls to pigs. And that's what Jesus was talking about. There's pigs out there. And sometimes you don't know until you throw your pearls out there. And then you see they trample them and they come and devour you. But the good point is that since it happened to me, I can warn you of the Steve Smothermans and the Skip Heitzig so that they won't come and trample on your stuff and then try to harm you. Because those people are pigs, you know, and that's all that they are. And that's what Christ was telling you, is to beware of those people and not to be careful of those people, because they're all around. They're in the church and they're all around. And so, again, this is just a recap of my story in Albuquerque. And thanks for watching.